Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's Jmann. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann. And with me today is herself, the Dirty Bee. Say something.
Hi.
Hi. So we have this long-standing habit of just sitting in my kitchen and having hilarious conversations. And I basically now am just forcing her to come downstairs into the cold basement with me, she's wrapped in a blanket, and have the regular conversations. We're just recording it now because they're fucking entertaining, and I think that you would enjoy to hear them. So here we are. Ta-da! First topic. So I came home the other night about 12:20, and I saw some cars in my next-door neighbor's driveway. These are people that are true white trash, absolute fucking morons. She works for the welfare department of a county I won't name, and he, to the best of my knowledge, doesn't work because he's a, quote, stay-at-home dad. So I've had to call the cops on them before for the noise because they just don't get it. I'm sick of these assholes and their inconsiderate late night sitting out on the deck being too fucking loud while they drink and smoke. Like, it's not like I would never have friends over, but if I do, I understand how to be considerate. Now, here's the backstory. When they moved in, I didn't go over to meet them because I was busy the week they moved in. But about 9 days into their tenure in that household, I was mowing my lawn in the backyard, and Swizzle Stick over there, and I don't know if he's Mexican or native. He's one of the two. I can't fucking tell. I'm pretty sure he's Mexican. But he comes over, and he waves at me. So I shut the mower off, reluctantly, because I'm just like, fuck this guy. I'm doing something right now. He doesn't say, hi, I'm so-and-so. He opens with, you got anything to smoke on? Not cigarettes. He makes that index finger thumb to your mouth like you're holding the joint motion. I'm like, you know what? I don't. Man, it's too bad you weren't here like X amount of months ago, because my kid's mom, who doesn't live here anymore, loves to smoke up. You guys probably would have got along great. But me, I don't use any illegal narcotics or smoke anything at all. I work in a jail. He's like, oh, you do? I'm like, yeah. I don't let that scare. I'm not saying that to, like, frighten you. I'm just letting you know I don't do any of that shit. So, heads up. And then I mentioned to him that the gas company had been out checking the dryer vent on the side of the house recently, because apparently the gas guy said that the reason I'm smelling that smell in my driveway downwind is because their dryer isn't burning fuel efficiently. He's like, oh, well, do you think you could take a look at it? Am I a fucking appliance repairman, you dumbass? No. God. So I'm in his basement taking a look at his dryer.
So the first thing you want to do when you meet somebody is go to their basement.
Is go right into their basement in a house that I'd lived next to for like 2 years, but I'd never been inside. So I'm looking at the dryer that I don't know anything about. I'm just like, what do you do? It's like guys when the car stalls out in the middle of nowhere and they're with their wife and they get out and they pop the hood and they're just like, try it now. And they just look around just completely flustered. Like, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing, but... And then they move something, they check the oil, they look at the battery. They don't touch the battery, they look at the battery. Okay, try it now. I opened the dryer and I looked inside. I kind of looked at the back. I tried to give him the air that I had some semblance of knowledge of what the situation might entail for fixing it. I had no idea. I'm like, yeah, you got to get a repairman, bro. I don't know. I'm not going to fuck around with gas lines. I don't know that shit. And that's the day we met. Before I left, I got to meet his wonderful baby mama, his girlfriend, and she told me she worked for the welfare department. And then I met her friend, who when I told her that I worked in a jail, she asked, what jail? And she's like, oh, I've been there before. Yeah. So the episode number 22, what a neat day. The inmate that says to me, I know you. You live in this city. You have a little girl, right? And she's like, I'm here because of you. That's the friend that just said, I've been in your facility before. I'm bridging the gap of the two stories.
Okay.
And the reason, if you don't recall, that she was in my facility is because she was drunk in the driveway at 3:15 in the afternoon on, I think, a Friday, screaming at her boyfriend's truck while he's inside of it, and then she tries to punch the mirror out. And then I walked over, and I gave her a piece of my mind, and I called her all kinds of not nice names. And then at the end, in typical Jmann's a bully fashion, I said, "Oh, are you going to go inside and cry now? Go in there and cry your big crocodile skank tears." I said something to that effect to her. So I've had to call a few, and they've had a couple of loud arguments in the garage on a weekend. It's always on a weekend because he acts like he has a Monday through Friday job. I'm pretty sure he's always there or off doing God knows what because he's dumb as fuck. This is a guy that was once caught by our other neighbor walking down the street pushing his then like 1-year-old daughter in a stroller. Did I say what time it was?
No.
It's like 11 in the morning. He's got a sixer of beer in the bottom compartment of the stroller. He's day drinking while he's pushing a child down the street towards the playground.
This sounds like Ricky.
This guy is fucking... No, this guy has none of the charm of Ricky. He's also dumb as fuck, but no, he's not Ricky from Sunnyvale Trailer Park on Trailer Park Boys. He is... I can't say his name because I try to not use it. He's just a dumb fuck. So they've had a couple of knockdown, drag-out arguments in the garage where him and the former roommate, who's in my facility, or was, till she got shipped on another warrant, which when I called the cops on her for punching the mirror, they didn't arrest her for punching the mirror. I forgot to add this. They arrested her, she told me, because she had an active warrant. Right. I'm here because of you. No, you're here because you had a warrant, dumb fuck, because you either failed to appear or didn't follow your probationary terms. But that's neither here nor there. They've had one argument in the garage was this. Him yelling, "I don't get why you're so nasty to me. I ain't never done nothing to you. I ain't never done nothing." And then she's walking down the street silently, like trying to get away, and the cops were circling the block for like 20 minutes trying to find her. Like she's a fucking ninja and just threw down some smoke pellets. Like it's Tatsu in The Secret of the Ooze, just like, "Ninja, vanish!" And the Foot Clan's gone. I don't know how she did it, because she's kind of portly and dumb. So, here's the party they were having. I come home, 12:20. I see the cars and I think, here we fucking go. And then I shut my garage and I go from my garage to my porch to go into my house and I can hear them.
Was this a weekend?
This was Saturday night into Sunday. We'll get there. That does come up, though. Thank you for interrupting. So in typical "get off my lawn" fashion, I go walking over there and I'm just like, "Hey, this is me giving you your one warning about the noise. It is 12:20. I have to get up for work in 5.5 hours. And I'll be damned if I'm going to lay there in bed and hear this shit through my window." I'm like, can we just, let's get it solved now so I don't end up calling the cops for what, the 5th or the 6th time? How many times have I hit him over here? And then people start getting lippy. Not him, because he's not smart enough. He is not a very strong speaker. He's never said anything to me that led me to believe that he has anything above a slightly mentally retarded IQ level. Or that he ever paid attention in English class. He's just fucking stupid. He's a fucking stupid. That's what he is. You fucking stupid. That's a whole nother bit from at work with my friend P. Dizzle. We'll get there eventually someday. I don't know. So, what's the first thing? Somebody said, he's like, "Well, it's not." I'm like, "Dude, it's 12:20. How many times do I have to tell you? This is a neighborhood of primarily elderly people. They don't want to hear this shit. And not everybody has the same work schedule as you." Or he's like, "Well, it's Saturday." And I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter. All right, where I work, it's open 365 days a year, 24/7. Holidays, weekends, that's meaningless to me. I'm like, and furthermore, the noise ordinances in this city aren't dictated by the day of the week. There's no stipulation that goes, "Well, on Saturday, you can be an asshole until 11:30, as opposed to Monday through Friday when you have to shut the fuck up at 9. In that scenario, Don Knotts is apparently the neighbor of the city, if you're going off my vocal impression. So, somebody cocks off at the mouth, and I'm walking away. And I say, "Why don't you move back to the hood with the rest of the trash?" To which his fat, drunken girlfriend, the homeowner, goes, "You're trash." Me. "Nice comeback, fatty." And her. And this was brilliant. "Why don't you shut up, you faggot?" And I turn around, I'm like, really? A gay slur? Was that where you're going with it? I'm like, "Oh, well, fuck you. The time for diplomacy is over." Whipped out my phone, dialed 911. I was talking to dispatch within 5 seconds. Then she's like, "Oh, what are you going to fucking call the cops?" She's like, "Shh, shut up, he's calling the cops. I'm like, yeah, past tense. I'm talking to him now. Don't worry, they'll be here soon. And then more verbal skirmishes broke out between me and her party guests. Like, she's talking. She's like, oh, don't worry about him. He's a CO. He thinks he's hot shit. And there's some big fat black girl there, right? When I initially walked over to talk to them, I didn't want to just be standing behind some trees off in the night like a fucking maniac. I walked around the fence and stood next to their deck. And then as soon as I left it I wish I had my old neighbor back, that's when I circled back to my yard and moved back to the hood with the rest of the trash line. So I'm on my side of the fence, and Moesha here in her infinite wisdom is like, why don't you go back to your property? I'm like, okay, just for the final time here, heads up. I'm on my side of the fence right now, and I have been for like 3 or 4 minutes. So why don't you stop worrying about where I'm standing and go back home and start preparing for the next Justice for Jmann rally, okay? Thank you. I didn't say that because she was black. I said that because when she told her I was a CO, she said some little comment about, fuck the police. I fucking hate the police. And then the neighbor, and then the homeowner herself flaps at the gums more. And I'm just like, I'm so sick of dealing with you Argosy University flunkies. I like to use the types of colleges that advertise on TV during daytime court shows to insult people's intelligence because it's the only type of higher learning institution that might let these stupid cunts in. Plus, they're usually like correspondence courses or online courses, and any Tom, Dick, and asshole can get a degree from some bumfuck unaccredited university that way.
In 8 years.
Well, a lot of people go to college for 8 years.
With multiple degrees.
Yes, those people are called doctors. There's I worked in a Tommy Boy quote. And then she said some more shit, and then there's some stoner, like there's this dude that I don't know who he is, and his little 90-pound spinner of a girlfriend. You know what a spinner is, right?
No.
A spinner is a woman who's so petite you could literally just put her on your cock and then spin her around like a top. She'd twirl right on it. She's so
awesome.
petite. Yeah. So you learned something.
Glad I learned that one.
Yeah. So she's like, dude, why are you going to call the cops? I'm like, listen, dazed and confused. Newsflash. Past tense. I already called the cops. And well, as soon as I get done saying that, I got homeowner bitch in the background. It's like, he's just uptight because he never gets any. He needs to fucking get laid. I was so close to making some comment about my sexual activity, but it's like, that's neither here nor there. I want to be like, excuse me, madam, but for your information, I get my dick wet so often they ought to start calling me Aquaman. But I held back. And then the cops came, and then I talked to the cop because I wanted to, let him know. They apparently said that I was yelling and swearing, but if you go back at all of my insults to them, I never swore. I know that you can be seen as just as guilty for provoking them if you swear, but if you don't swear, it really pisses people off. I do it all the time at work. I get really mean and insulting to the inmates that get in my face, but I don't swear at them unless I'm like super hot angry. I think I've yet to call somebody, you stupid motherfucker, but I really have to clench my teeth to not call people that, or cunt. I've never called an inmate a cunt yet to their face.
To their face.
Buddy, eat my dick. Fucking cat. So the next day I'm at work, and I used the local city website to punch in the property address, to figure out her last name, to go to the state court's website, to run her background, to see what she's been up to lately. And then I'm like, oh, I see she got a drunken disorderly conduct in another county back in October. And then I'm like, I wonder if this is even her, because the name matched, but there could be duplicate names. And I looked at the date of birth. So apparently when I went over there at 12:20 in the morning to raise holy hell about the noise, what I was doing was interrupting her birthday. That was her
horrible neighbor.
Birthday celebration. Don't fucking stand outside after midnight and think that you're smoking and drinking. That's 15 feet from my bedroom, maybe 20, and that I'm going to listen to that shit. That's not fair. Go inside and fucking party. Not 2016, but 2015. Was it March 18th? So going from St. Patrick's Day into the next day, I'm in my room and I'm sleeping. I can hear them. I go outside. They're in the house. They're in the corner of the basement that's right next to where my room is. but they get the window wide open. So I walked over, I knelt down next to the window and went, and then you heard, oh my God, like I scared the shit out of them because they had the blinds drawn. And I could smell weed, so clearly we're firing on all cylinders there. And I'm like, dude, it is 1:30 in the morning, and my fucking children are trying to sleep. They should not have to hear this shit through the wall of their bedroom, and one of their bedrooms is on the opposite side of where you are right now. So I would appreciate it if you could keep the noise down. I don't want to call the cops. I don't want to stop your party. I don't want to interrupt your fun. You have every right to have a good time in your own home. Just be conscientious and close the goddamn window. Okay, man, we'll do that. And he did it. It was fine. That's how most of them should end. But when mouthy bitches with attitudes think they can out-insult me, that's when I pull out the verbal bag of tricks and I let have whatever I have to say. I don't care about their feelings. I once told a drunken man who snuck up on me behind my car in an adjacent driveway to my old girlfriend. He was like, what are you doing? This is a guy I suspected of stealing the purse or the wallet out of her purse in her car like a few weeks prior. And by the end of that conversation, her stepdad was pulling me away from the scene when I was shouting at him that he should go in the house and jump in a bathtub with a toaster. He's a fucking drunk on disability. What do you want me to do? Topic number 2. I was surfing the internet every day, filling my head with useless knowledge, and I came across a Yahoo story. And I've been trying to get Dirty B here to find it on her phone, but we couldn't replicate it, so I don't know what happened to it. But it was a story about a human being who is gender non-conforming. Now, you're going to have feedback on the mic if you start fucking with your phone that close to me. Yes, I know this for a fact. And so this person said, I'm gender non-conforming, but don't ask me what's in my pants. So I think the angle she's trying to play is that she doesn't subscribe to either gender, and that's her prerogative. In this day and age, every asshole that wants to try to make life miserable for people with common sense that can handle, descriptions of things rather than, I don't conform. You can't make me be something you label me. I don't need labels. I'm special. No, you're not. You're just another peanut in the turd like the rest of us, princess. So come down off your high fucking horse. But she talks about, sometimes I like to wear a dress. Sometimes I like to wear carpenter's jeans. I don't shave my legs. And there's this body of the article from a picture of her from the neck up, right? And I'm like, is this a guy dressing like a girl? Is this a girl who looks a little strong in the jawline? What the fuck is this? And it talks about, I'm not a he or a she or an it. So it begs the question, what the fuck are you? It's not rude to wonder. That's the problem with all of these goddamn stupid liberal meatheads with their I don't subscribe to any label mentality. It's a, don't label me. I'm above that. I'm special. Once again, fuck you. You're not special. You're a human being just like me. You just choose to make life for people around you more difficult.
You son of a bitch!
But the problem here is that you're forcing other people to be overly sensitive to you. Why? Because you're offended by their curiosity. Human beings are naturally curious. That's why we ask questions. Our brains are developed enough to be like, why this? When is that? How did you get to this conclusion? What, when, and whatever else. Don't ask me what's in my pants.
God damn you!
Then there's another picture of this thing, this creature, whatever it is. Better looking picture. It's not like a made for the internet headshot to kind of try to give you that ambiguity of what gender this person actually is. Wearing a dress, nice big set of tits. You can see the cleavage. They looked natural. They weren't like extra perky like the fake ones are. You've seen some fake tits. Your sister has fake tits.
Yes.
Somebody you work with, Casey, just got some big old fake tits. I haven't seen them yet in blouse or under. Eventually one day I might see him in a sweater and go, ha. So those are fake. Good for you. Way to waste. How many grand did she spend?
I don't know. I don't even want to know.
Ballpark it. 6 to 8?
I think like 9 to 10.
On tits.
On tits.
That's a half a car.
Mm-hmm.
Some fucking people. So, back to the gender bender.
Really?
I'm making a face like, yeah, so don't ask me what's in my pants. And I started talking about this with one of the inmates at work. I'm like, can you think of how that need for sensitivity can be problematic? Like, I get that you don't want to be asked if you have a dick or a pussy. It's your right. However, let's say you know people and they don't know what your birth gender was, what your actual physiological
DNA
makeup is. You know, what plumbing do you have? So I put myself in the situation. What if I worked with this thing and I thought it was a girl? And like we struck up a friendship, and then I had romantic feelings, and we went out on a date, and I was cool with the whole gender non-conforming thing. But eventually, right, I'm going to have to ask, because I don't want to find out the hard way. You don't want to, like, go out with somebody
How would you even come up to ask that question? You just assume and you go for it.
You just go for it and come up with a handful of balls?
Apparently.
Because that's the dangerous precipice that this bitch has everybody that knows her hinging on.
Are you going to walk up to any person and just be like, so, what's in there?
Well, no.
What do I have to look forward to?
Know.
Do I have to look forward to big, floppy, whatever?
You have to broach the top. You can't say you're gender non-conforming and don't ask me what's in my pants and not expect people to want to eventually know what's in your pants, especially if somebody's interested in you. So if I were to take this person out on a date and then we have several subsequent dates, you know, and I've been like hanging out with and holding hands, commiserating, making out with this person. Let's say one day we're on the couch and we're making out. And now it's been a few times where I've played with its tits. And now I want a round third. And I stick my hand down its pants or its skirt, up its skirt, or wherever I'm going, which up or down, I don't know, it's neither here nor there. And then I find a dick. I'm going to be fucking furious. Be like, this whole awkward situation could have been avoided if your stupid bitch ass would have told me that you have tits and a dick. I like what's up top. I can't roll with what's down here. All right? I'm wiser in my older years now, but I'm not curious enough to want to know what it's like to play Castle Towers with somebody with a set of C-cups. That's not how I fucking roll. And fuck you for luring me in with your personality and those big tits and those I'm special, you want to love me eyes when you have this. You're peeing standing up with a meat stick. Fuck you. That's not cool. So then the inmate's like, yeah, that's bullshit. I'm like, because then what do? You feel like you've been lied to. I mean, you can't punch it in the face, because if you do, and the cops show up, is it a domestic? Is it a hate crime? What is it? I mean, they say you should never hit a woman, but I don't know what you are now, because you don't conform, and you've got tits and a dick. So is it fair game for me to smack you in the fucking mouth I was just kissing for the dick I just found? Nobody wants to play the crying game in this day and age, and it's unfair that these gender bender fuckers force you into it. That's not cool.
I don't think they go quite that far.
You don't know.
I don't know.
Some people are really committed to this shit.
I would say then they would be transgender, not gender non-conforming.
No, they're not male or female. They don't. You can't force them to subscribe to a gender role.
Most of them, I don't think, are even like sexual.
They just don't fuck.
Care. Yeah, they're just they're totally asexual.
Stimulate my soul, not my peignoir or clitoris.
Emotional relationships. I think they're just here to take up space.
They're just, I'm so mad at the world for trying to label me. I'm not going to let anybody get near my sniz or dick or butthole. I mean, I guess push comes to shove. You're like, well, you know what? You brought this on. So I was thinking about smacking you in the mouth, but you better grab some couch cushions and bite down. Oh, because I am going right up your poop chute. This is fucking happening. And I'm going to grab your tits and give you a chest reach around while I'm doing it. And I'm going to pretend you're a pretty lady, you freak of nature. You fucking unicorn with buffalo wings. What the fuck are you? That's not cool. And it harkens back to the general fervor over all this gender nonconformity horse shit. And like, nobody knows what to call them. You can't call them a tranny, it's insensitive. I'm saying gender bender, that's probably really insensitive. They had cis ginger. They talked about it on South Park. Cartman's like, no. See, I'm cis ginger. I'm not a male or a female. I'm whoever I want to be. I'm cis ginger. I don't pick a gender. So yeah, you can't even call them cis ginger anymore because they might get pissed off. Plus, I don't get where you get the ginger out of it because it has nothing to do with hair color. It's really fucking confusing. It's
because
just like
it's Cartman and he's an idiot. Gender.
He didn't create that term. They took the term and ran with it. Trey Parker and Matt Stone did not coin that one. That was in the lexicon beforehand.
Seriously?
Yes. So then it harkens back to these kids that suddenly like, well, I was born with a penis, but I know I feel like I'm a girl. I identify as a female, and you need to let me change in the girls' locker room.
That's not non-conformist, though.
It's the same wheelhouse.
That's transgender, though.
I know.
I feel like something else.
I'm not saying the two are equitable. Okay. I'm saying it's the standard of us having to constantly fucking acquiesce to their goddamn insane demands. Like, I need my own bathroom. Because that's what Cartman wanted. He got sick of how messy the boys' bathroom was. And he couldn't go in the girls' bathroom because the girls were all upset that there was a boy in there, so he demanded his own bathroom. And they fucking gave it to him. He just wanted a quiet place to poop that was all his own. So now you got these boys that say they're girls, or girls that say they're boys. And now these school districts are stuck in between a rock and a hard place because, well, I don't want to be insensitive, so I got to let you do what's progressive and intelligent because that's the sick, sad, fucked up, pussy-ass world we live in now. Thank you, PC America. Or saying no and seeming like you're coming down as the heavy. Or maybe the worst part is that you say, I know where you're going with this. You're going to bring up the Whole Foods bathroom sign.
No.
Something like Hy-Vee or something. Anyway. So, let's say the boy says he's a girl. He goes in the locker room. What if one of these days he's in there and he's watching the girls undress? Like he's getting dressed really slow. Like the one old man in the locker room at the YMCA who watches all the boys change their swim trunks for like way too long, or just stands there in the shower, just letting the water bead down on his sack for like 10 minutes while all these teenage boys walk by. Or worse yet, all these like 7 to 10-year-old kids walking from swim class and he becomes their first object of sexual confusion. Like, look at that old man's droopy balls and gray pubic hair. Oh, it's gross. But it's just like that car crash my dad says he can't look away from. God, look at I'm fucking hypnotized by that old man's weird cock. It looks like a Pillsbury croissant. Yeah. So now you got the kid in there and he sees all the tits. What if he starts beating his mate? He's still got a dick. He might say, I'm a girl. You can't be offended. I'm done. Or he fucking rapes somebody. So I should forsake safety for, like, say, my daughter's, for example, one day, because some boy wants to change in the girls' room because he doesn't feel like a boy. So I should be like, well, you know, you're going to have to just make your peace with the fact that a sexual assault is that much easier to commit right now because he thinks he's a girl. Rather than, get the fuck out of here with your dick. Go change in the hallway then, you freak show. At least give everybody else something to talk about because, you know, they're already doing it behind your back. So why not change it out in the open? Yeah, go fucking change in the hallway next to the principal's office. You 3-ring circus of dipshittery. I don't get it. Because, like, watch, well, some girl says, I identify as a boy, and she wants to change in the boys' locker room. And next thing you know, she's getting gangbanged by the football team. And if high school football teams have as many people on the roster as the NFL, that's 53 dicks. That's quite the oil train running down that pipe. You just gagged a little. That's funny. Yeah. Imagine 53 guys all taking a turn on you. I know in last episode I said never go first. If you're with a group of guys and you are intent on committing a rape, like together, gang rape, go first. Go. That's the only time it's okay to go first in one of these weird sexual situations. If you're going to be a participant in a gang rape.
When it's that many.
Or a gang bang. You go first. You get it done with. You shoot your load, then you go home. You don't want to be the 45th guy on the team to fuck this chick's butthole. Because maybe they're doubling up and they're fucking doing the whole Eiffel Tower A-frame thing and high-fiving. Maybe she's got one in all 3 of her holes. Maybe they're just fucking her mouth and her butthole or her pussy and they're high-fiving and shit. All because she doesn't identify as a lady and she wanted to be with the boys. Maybe she's just some cock-thirsty future cum receptacle that wants to see a bunch of dicks without having to put in the work of trying to get to know these boys. What if that's the case? I could date all these guys, or I could just join the football team and say that I'm gender non-conforming and go in there and see all their dicks in the shower. And if I let them watch me soap my tits, they'll shake all their dicks at me, and then everybody's getting what they want. Almost. And then comes in the 53-man train on her ass, and she's shitting pancakes for the next decade. Till she saves up enough money after paying her student loan debt to get her butthole sewn back up. Where does this end? I know these are very dramatic, worst-case scenarios, but you have to plan for the worst and hope for the best. That's my mentality in life. I'm always ready for the shitstorm with my umbrella, even on a sunny day. Right? So if your daughter thinks that she might be a boy even though she's got a pussy, don't send her into the lion's den with the boys who are changing after wrestling practice, because they're going to smear her in cum and sweat and ringworm because they're on mats with together and, the skin stuff. Folliculitis. And then on her face. Just balls. Balls dragging on her face. How would you feel if there was some boy at your daughter's school, because you have a daughter, and he wants to change in the girls' locker room? Fast forward to like 10 years from now, when she's in high school. Would you be cool with that?
No.
Especially if she said, I think he's watching us change. I think he's just doing it to look at our boobs.
No.
Let me flip the script. Any dude that does that just to get a chance to look at boobs, dude, you are totally ahead of the curve. You couldn't pull that shit when we were in high school.
Well, you just pretend that you're gay, because you know how many gay men go around and are able to touch pretty much every woman's chest that they want to.
Well, there was that video at Gay Guys See a Vagina for the First Time.
That was hilarious.
That was pretty funny. One guy's like, oh my God! These aren't like...
And then they turn around and love it.
Yeah, they're like, oh my God, it's softer than I thought it would be. Like, what did you think a pussy was? Like a Brillo pad?
What was that movie with the vagina with teeth?
It's just called Teeth. Vagina dentata.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one. I saw Human Centipede, the first one. That was interesting.
That was disgusting.
No, it wasn't. South Park's take on it was even funnier.
Well, I think I gagged quite a few times during that movie.
Because,
especially the girl in the last where she's just like, oh,
when she's getting the mouth full of secondhand shit.
Yeah.
See? There's another one. If you have to go first, do it in a Human Centipede. You want to be able to eat the Indian food and then
real
poop
food.
it out. Yeah, you might have a sore asshole from having somebody's mouth sewn to it, but you know what? You're just shitting into a mouth. That's just like a smaller toilet.
You definitely don't want to... I would not want to be the second one, though. Have no control over the other end, either.
Well, yeah, I mean, then you've got shit in your mouth and you're puking shit into an asshole while you're shitting into a mouth that's puking shit back up into your own asshole. Yeah, that's no good. That's a shit deal, pun intended.
Which was one that died first, though?
I don't fucking
was it
remember.
The one in the middle or the end?
Does it matter?
It was not the dude.
Well, I think the Asian guy cut his own throat.
Yeah. But one of them...
Well played, sir.
I think it was the girl on the end that died because she didn't have enough nutrition. She starved to death because the middle one refused to shit.
In her mouth.
So there she is with one dead...
I know this is awful, but I'm sorry. I don't want to be the reason that you starved to death. Just let me shit in your mouth, please. I know it tastes awful, but eventually, I mean, all shit's going to taste like food then, right? It can't taste like shit forever. Ah, I love you. Brings new meaning to that Toy Story song, You've Got a Friend in Me. You've got a friend in me. I'm sorry. Just swallow it down. They say that if you have to eat shit, it's best not to nibble.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good. You gagged again. That's exactly what I want. That's why I've made you come down here and record this episode. What else can I rant about? Okay. Things you learn when you work in a jail. I talked before about working with type A personalities. After a while...
type A.
I know I am. It's working with other type A's. If you're the only type A, that's fine. But if it's a whole room full of type A's or a whole business full of type A's, it's fucking miserable. So let's say, hypothetically, that one of the inmates gets written up for something. And then I know for a fact that the missing piece of paper that caused the write-up or the behavior that's in question that caused the write-up is actually our fault. I will speak up for the inmate. I'm fine with that. Some people at work, I think, have this behind-my-back stance that I'm too soft on these motherfuckers, and I'm not. I just don't... You can't be a prick all the time. Because then you're just a waste of skin, and then you're the person that gets jumped in the parking lot one night when you're leaving.
So, same idea as you would give your mom a ticket if she was speeding?
Yes. I brought this up earlier that in a job interview once for a police department, some chief asked me, well, if you pulled over a car and it was your mom, would you give her a ticket? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'd give her a ticket. Well, I didn't say fuck yeah. I was like, yeah, I'd give her a ticket. She's nobody special. Like, is she speeding? Yeah, and she deserves a ticket. You know the rule is not to speed, so you're speeding. I can't be like, well, Mom, you know you shouldn't be doing that. You better go right home and watch Days of Our Lives and think about what you've done, you dirty old smelly bitch. My hands are on my hips and I'm making this face like, almost like a Popeye face. You need
It's a little more powdery.
Get back on the couch there, Linda, and eat some more ice cream sandwich. I can't do Popeye. Whoa, you're going 45 and a 50. You do. No, that's too slow.
That's like Roz from Monsters, Inc.
I can't do Popeye.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah, I can do so many others, so it balances. I don't feel bad about not doing. How relevant is Popeye these days? He's the most popular stroke victim in animation history. Yeah, because you fucking had a stroke, dipshit. I'm sorry if that's insensitive because your dad had a stroke.
He didn't have a stroke.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to people whose parents have had strokes. But you know what? Just because you've had a stroke or your mom had a stroke or you had a heart attack or you got raped in the ass one day while walking down the wrong back alley, that doesn't mean
those
that...
are comparable.
One damages your spirit, the other damages your whole. Real rape is not funny. Hypothetical rape is not real rape, so you can laugh at it.
I was talking like more the stuff that maybe by diet you can change, not the fact that somebody else is coming in and raping you.
Well, yeah, you don't go dressed out like that in the night, walking down in a bad neighborhood. I'm sorry. Yeah, it kind of sounds like victim blame, but you know what? I don't go down to the north side and start screaming out, fuck Black Lives Matter, and then go crying foul that I take a bullet. As I said with this argument once we were talking about victim blame in college. And some chick's like, you mean to tell me that if some girl goes out in a half shirt and a short skirt and she goes walking down Hennepin Avenue, that it's her own fault if she gets assaulted? And like 5 or 6 of us are like, yes! And then all the other guys like realized what they were saying and like, were like, oh, they froze. And I'm like, listen, pumpkin.
When you look like a hooker and you're walking down Hennepin Avenue, you better expect to get something.
Right, so I, without missing a beat, turned around and said, you know what, I don't go walking into a gay bar and assless chaps and then cry foul if somebody cops a feel I'm standing at the urinal, sweetie. And the teacher's just like, closed his eyes and shook his head. He's like, but then he nodded yes, like, okay, I get it. That line like lived on in infamy for 2 years after I said it. What was I ranting about again? I've gotten so far off the beaten path, but at least it's still entertaining, so hopefully the listening audience is still tuned in and enjoying themselves. So circling back to the things you learn when you work in a jail. Sometimes you got to throw your coworkers under the bus because they're lazy and they don't pay attention. And somebody gets written up for not handing in a very important piece of paper that I find in the first 5 seconds when I open their file up. This is the same piece of paper that I had seen laying on the desk the day prior as I was on my way to go on a break. And when the person that wrote him up said, well, you didn't hand it in, he said, I know I handed it in. You guys lost it. You need to get your shit together. She's the type of type A to be like, you don't talk to me like that. That's a violation. I'm going to write you up, for him voicing his opinion strongly that we fucked up because apparently wearing a brown correctional officer uniform makes you immune to constructive criticism.
Of course it does.
It's like kryptonite to a type A's spirit. And it's fucking stupid. Kryptonite. So, I found the piece of paper right away, had to go to my boss's office, told him what happened. That's on top of the other 2 write-ups that were on my housing unit that I had to go talk to him about that I had already voided out after he printed them. I'm like, by the way, this piece of paper was misplaced by us, and this guy left the building to go see probation with a sense of urgency that was created by me that said, you better get there by this time before your PO goes home. Or he said, he's not going to see you for 2 weeks and you're getting out soon and you want this answered now, right? Get your ass over there. Like I called out to him on his activity and said, dude, when you get back, you're going right there. So he did get back one of the slips that we have him signed. God, I'm gassy all of a sudden. Pepperoni burps.
Gross.
Yeah. So he didn't get some slip signed, and then overnights wrote him up. Overnights being the guy that bumped me off overnights. Like, I used to, when the shit would come up missing, I'd go ask the inmate, like, around breakfast time, like, hey, I'm checking files for this stuff. I can't find this. Do you have it? Oh, no, I don't have it. Then I'd write him up, or, oh, it's right here. Cool, thanks. Why do I need to type up a bunch of violations? Why do I need to seem like I'm anal retentive about every last iota of policy? Like, I don't get a boner out of you losing a weekend visit with your kids because you didn't hand in your work hour timesheet. That's fucking stupid. If I can find it, and then I get what I need, and then I can do less work, and you can see that somebody on my side of the desk is actually approachable and gives a shit. Coincidentally, one of the guys who had something missing that got written up already, I'm like, are you sure you handed it in? Yeah. I'm like, do you want to check? He's like, no, I did hand it in. I wanted to be like, you know what? Do you think you could get out of bed and for 10 seconds dig through your notebook you take everywhere with you and maybe see if it's in there? Because if you don't give a shit enough to look, maybe I don't give a shit enough to go make this write-up disappear for you, motherfucker. I mean, this is a goddamn heroin addict who's on his like third stint there. Speaking of people at work that piss me off, I'm in the medical room with somebody who's diabetic and they're checking their sugar, and some other motherfucker walks up and goes, "Can I get my meds?" Completely disregarding that I'm busy or that somebody else is there. "Can I get my meds?" I'm like, "What meds?" "My meds." "Thanks, genius." "Where were you at 6 a.m.? "What do you mean?" "Well, that's when med pass is, 6 a.m. Where were you?" "I don't get up that early." I'm like, "Well, and you don't get your pills right now." I'm like, and furthermore, this is just as bad as the last few times you've hit me up for a bag lunch to make up for breakfast that you didn't get up for. I'm like, I'm sick of this never-ending string of piddly excuses why you couldn't be bothered to get up for a meal that's at the same time every day of the week. I'm like, get out of here. And then it was a joke that I talked to him that way with some of the other inmates. We're like, "Oh, Jmann's mad. Don't mess with him today. When you see his eyebrows go up, it means business." I don't know what that means. Like, I was like, You don't do that. No, I was pissed. Like, motherfucker. I had a furrowed brows. So this guy, I had twice in the last week. He's like, "I missed breakfast. Can I get a bag lunch?" I don't want to listen to his fat, toothless belly aching because he's a fucking meth head. On again, off again. He looks like a jack-o'-lantern when he smiles. So I just gave him a peanut butter and jelly bag lunch and said, "Fuck off." Not literally, but I was like, "There you go, bye." And then if I keep doing that, I'm just enabling him. And that's why he hasn't been able to grow up. That's all people do is, "Here, fucking take this and go away because you're an annoying piece of shit." Clearly he knows that if he works that angle, he can get what he wants.
Sounds like a lot of Section 8.
Probably poor people are like, "Well,
You
I
owe
can't."
me.
Yeah. "I'm poor, so you better make my life easier." This guy, "Well, I'm in here and I'm tired from all the going to treatment group for my meth addiction that I'm doing while not working." And then a few weeks ago, he goes to court for like a chips case on his kids, Child Protection Services. And I overheard somebody talking. He's like, "Yeah, he said he was really upset because he got to see his daughter and he gave her a big hug and she started crying and he hasn't seen her in person in like 2 years." I'm like, wow, fuck you. All right, I've never gone more than maybe like 3 days without seeing my kids, and that's because I have to let their mom have them on her days without interrupting her life too much. And then somebody's like, and he was really, really upset because he found out that his oldest son is molesting his youngest son. I wanted to go seek him out and be like, "Hey, I heard about what happened at court, fuckface. Give yourself a pat on the back. You're such an absentee father that your kids are so underparented that they're now fucking each other."
Where's the mom and all that, though?
I don't know. She's probably a piece of shit, too. Looking at him, it's not like she's, like a doctor. He's all pissed off about his kids being unruly pieces of shit and statistics, but it's like, dude, you're
Look at
never
what they get to
around.
look forward to.
Yeah. They're just going to be a more fucked up version of you. They're just on the fast track now. So probably don't wait for that Dad of the Year mug to come in the mail around mid-June. And all his belly aching about is going to the dentist for sore fucking teeth. His teeth are rotten because he smokes meth. That you can't expect me. I hate how upper management where I work is like, "Well, you got to be sympathetic to these people. You have to talk to them like they're human beings." Well, human beings are human beings. They're not magical monsters or beings or pixies that deserve special treatment. This guy's not mentally retarded. We're not building a ramp up into the building for him. He smokes meth and he's got rotten teeth. I'm not going to sit there and keep handing him packet after packet of IBU because he's got a rotten mouth. Think about that, dipshit, the next time you wrap your lips around that glass pipe and smoke a bubble. It's your own fucking fault that you have periodontic disease. Your teeth are rotting because you like to smoke the stuff under the sink. And you know it's bad, and this is like your 7th or 8th stint here. So on top of your sore teeth and you're needing ibuprofen and an ice pack, fuck you and your I want a bag lunch because you've come here like 8 times now. Breakfast hasn't changed at what time it is in the 9 years I've been around there, Smokey. All right, so 7 o'clock is 7 o'clock. It's never 5:30 for you because you don't go to work. You don't have privileges because you're not employed. You're just a piece of shit. And maybe when you get out of here, you should find like an old hand grenade and pull the pin and stuff it in your mouth. Chow down on that when you miss breakfast. It'll take care of your hunger and your bad teeth all in one fell swoop. And then magically solve recidivism. Because you won't be back. Because you'll be dead. You'll be totally dead. Anything else you would like to bring up?
No.
I'm going to end it on me talking about a guy committing suicide because I hate his guts.
Because then his kids will get Social Security.
Well, the
Until
one's
they're
going to be
18.
in prison for fucking the other one in the mouth anyway, and odds are his daughter's going to be out there turning tricks, and she can't be bothered to go down to the welfare office for her monthly allotment of wicker food stamps because she's out sucking dick for methadone money. To go pay the small fee to get the government aid program of the red Kool-Aid that keeps her hooked on the sniz, that she thinks that this is my medicine. If I don't have it, I'm going to hurt. Well, it seems to me that a long time ago, a DARE officer told me that heroin's addictive and that it's hard to kick. And then they told me again in health class in 7th, 8th, and 10th grade. So, I'm sorry that you need your, quote, medicine to be okay for your addiction, but maybe you should just go eat like 150 Wellbutrins and then chase it with a shotgun blast. Solve everybody's problems. Being the typical ray of sunshine that I am, I'm Jmann. This is the Dirty Bee.
Bye.
Bye! That's the end.